Hey, yo, it's me, the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
Reach for the sky, boy. It's me, Double V, Nico Lero.
That's the one. Okay, guys, short, sweet. There will be another show this week from the ministry. Look out for it. But for now, we are going to give you just a quick recap of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which took place this Saturday gone. Initial thoughts.
Very much what I said after the Rumble. Safe. Very, very, very safe. Some ugly pre-McMahon departure style booking, like with the DQ. Listen, there's a fine line to tread with WWE, not wrestling, specifically with WWE, because they're such a big product. There's a fine line to tread. Sometimes you do have to do the obvious thing, and it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. The example I'm going to give in this case, funnily enough, is not the main event. It's Austin Theory. I thought you did the right thing there. Under no circumstance should you have put the title on anyone else. I actually thought, I've seen a lot of people trashing that match. I was like, nah, that match was actually one of my high points of the evening because it gave Johnny Wrestling a chance to actually wrestle and reminded everyone that, oh shit, he's actually really good. It's like, Johnny Wrestling's quite a good wrestler. Seth Rollins and him together, I thought I wanted more of that, you know?
Yeah, there's something definitely in that.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. They gave us the predictability of the big guy having to eat every pin. I keep on shitting on What Culture every week, but I do love the way they were like, oh, look how they positioned Bronson Reed. You know, he's now that guy. He's really being taken seriously, having to eat all the finishers. I'm like, so every big guy ever.
Any chamber. That I think it was even a prediction from what I gave last week. It was like, irrelevant of what happens, Bronson Reed's going to have to take every finisher to get pinned.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not that he's been built to be that guy. That's just how WWE book the big guy in a chamber. It's like, and again, not a bad thing. I'm actually not I have no beef with them booking him like that. I have a beef with the unnecessary overhype coming from some of the bigger YouTube channels. And yeah, I'm throwing shade here at people like Adam Wilborn and Andy Murray who are saying things like, oh yeah, they're really, it's fake hype. Like, yes, make him the big guy who eats finishers by all means. It's the logical thing to do, but don't create a narrative that's not there by saying like, oh, he's now been really pushed. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. The chamber needs a big man to do exactly that role. I did like seeing Montez Ford do his thing, and I thought if you were doing that as a kind of litmus test to see, can this guy function alone? Yes, can.
I'm torn on Ford. It's more of what we've always said, but more of you said more than anyone else. He's so damn good, but the gimmick. And I'm sorry, and I said it when we watched it live, and I'll say it now. It's annoying seeing Kevin Owens throwing the crotch chop every minute of the day, and everyone's like, "Oh, the club throw up the too sweet." It's different. They were NWO 2.0. So everyone involved in that sort of, I know you'll be familiar, Ian, but she's again by association. She's with the guys who were doing it. You know, she's with freaking Carl Anderson. I don't know if she still is. God knows what's happening with that angle right now. But it makes sense.
They're not even on TV at the moment.
You lose AJ Styles, that's it. It's all gone. Right? Yeah. But you look at something like the crotch chop, and DX are coming back to do reunions. But everyone telling everyone to suck it. It's like, no. I could appreciate it more, honestly speaking, if it was an AEW where you don't have the heir apparent being your freaking boss right now. So you got Kevin Owens doing it. Montez is doing it at every given second. Yeah. Bro, do you? I know you
and
can't.
What's interesting is they are doing it in AEW at the moment as the Arse Boys are doing it, the Gun Club, and they're doing it as a kind of
Daddy's there.
Daddy's there, and they're doing it as an FU to Daddy because he went down a different road. So that whole storyline makes sense.
Yeah.
But look, I have to say, what I saw from Theory in the chamber and what I saw from him on Raw last night, he really is starting to look like quite the star. He's growing on me, man. I was never not on Theory, but he's really growing on me. I do like Austin Theory.
Theory's had such a weird thing because you look at Theory getting called up. He was the non-Latino in the Latino group. He became the disciple, and he was awesome. He got sent back down to NXT, was doing his own thing, was part of the way. Then he comes back, and he's the selfie kid, and everyone's like, "You're Tyler Breeze. That's not fun," right? But then he becomes Daddy's boy, and then Vince vanishes, and then he took that turn. And I always remember saying,
and that fuckery with the Money in the Bank.
But I always remember saying that it was the best thing to do. It revitalized him because it was like, take me serious now. I fucked up, but then I became US champ, and that's what I think has now put him on the path that he needs to be. And kudos to you. I think we're at open challenge season with him.
We are. That's what happened on Raw. Yeah.
It's one open challenge, and we're a couple of weeks away from Cena turning up. But that could be something to look out for. And it
wasn't quite how I called it. But
no, it's not. But in a way, dare I say, it's even better because if legends accept, then you have to take out Mr. Legend himself in the open challenge of US Open challenges. So
both are good. Whether you do the kind of Healy squash the jobbers and pretend you're a big deal, or actually be a big deal and squash the legends, both work for me.
Yeah.
What they're doing with Theory, I like. And do I think they're, going to build a star? Time will tell. I'm not going to pass judgment on that yet. Over the last decade, WWE haven't really made a star of the caliber of John Cena. So we shall see. But I like where they're going with Theory. I thought what they did with the women's Elimination Chamber, again, predictable but good. Yeah. I enjoyed seeing my girl Carmella have a run. She makes me happy, as you know. But yeah, seeing Asuka win, I thought, Asuka dethroning Bianca. Doesn't have to, but Asuka dethroning Bianca at Mania, that's a match I want to see. That's a good match. I'm interested in that. Bro, to be honest, where a lot of people are saying that the correct thing to do for the logic reason, because it has to happen at Mania, was have Sami lose to Roman. Now, what I've said for the longest time, I've been saying it for the last few weeks. The noise I've been making about Sami Zayn has always, in the last few weeks, has always been what WWE have failed to do. And I might eat my own words if what I saw on Raw is not a swerve. I've been saying that they're not in tune with their audience because they're not seeing that and you've come to agree with me, the heat, the support, the white hot noise that Sami Zayn has behind him at the moment, it's too big for the tag titles. He's outgrown that. I had no issue with 9 months ago, the story being Sami and KO reunite and take out the Usos. 9 months ago, great story, build up to that. But things change, cards change, plans change, pal. If plans change, then listen when they're happening organically. Like this guy got himself over with Usi, and the crowd bought into it and loved it. And he has been over and growing since then. And for me, the predictable thing was having him lose. And I don't mean predictable like I think good predictable like Theory. Like I said this in the chat earlier, in our WhatsApp group. And I didn't hear anyone disagree with me on it. It's like, yes, it would be weird to dethrone such a legendary title run literally a few weeks before Mania when you've got your Moneymaker match card. It would be weird. Yes, for sure. But imagine the feeling. Just imagine the feeling of, for once, the hometown hero not losing in his hometown in front of his friends and family. We've seen it a million times. Imagine if for once they swerved us in a way that, actually, a few weeks before Mania, Roman actually fucking lost. A few weeks before Mania, Roman actually lost to fucking Sami Zayn. A few weeks before Mania, Roman actually lost to Sami Zayn in fucking Canada. Like, what? Not only would the audience have loved it, but do you know what it would have done? It would have not only made our prediction show more interesting because the bigger point being, okay, so we can't take anything at face value anymore. WWE are clearly now going to do some surprise bookings now and then. And all of a sudden, you're going completely against the grain of not giving the big money Roman match at Mania. But Jesus Christ almighty, with that decision, have you made your audience go, oh, What? Okay, I wasn't expecting that. And I actually, yeah, I don't know how you're going to book Mania, but this moment right now, I like it. It's nice.
So I'm gonna go down my prediction route. So here's two things. I think you weren't in tune with wrestling at the time. It's very different because it's a high caliber person. Everybody, I mean, we wanted it. It looked like it wasn't good. I mean, it sounds stupid in hindsight. Rock beat Punk, and everyone wanted Punk to make it to Mania. And that's the thing. That was like, you could drop it at any time, but he needs to get to Mania with the belt. It needs to reach whatever number Punk was at the time. It didn't happen. It can be the same way. You can get a lot of disgruntled people who'll be like, so close to Mania, and they were like, oh, but they fucked it. Like, I'm not saying people don't buy into the Sammy, but I think that hype will die down so quick because you're now booking in Roman into what? As I said earlier, the best I can think of in a world that doesn't have The Rock turning up is Roman versus Jay, part 3. And don't get me wrong, they could put on a show, but I don't know what else
doesn't have the caliber.
Yeah, what's the biggest star in this company? What all storylines are focused on is that. Yeah, I remember pre-Rumble at Elimination. I keep calling it Elimination Chamber. War Games. I was like, Sammy, it's the tag titles. That's the way it was. I believe Triple H made the mistake. Not made the mistake, because for better or worse, you've built a star. How long that star sticks for is something. But he's at star status. He's the name everyone's talking about. You talk about this time last year. You were like, oh,
I'm worried he's a flash in the pan as far as being a star is concerned.
It can be, but it depends how you book him, right? Bear in mind, this guy last year was going into fucking Johnny Knoxville. Everyone's like, he's going to eat the pin against Johnny Knoxville. It's obvious. That's where he was to being considered to be the main event for this year. Do you understand? And that's in the spec. It's not even a year's worth of building. Now, that's because Triple H done what Vince didn't, and that's putting him on screen with Roman. That it became a bond bigger, because at the time he was the Usos plaything. They were reporting to Roman. He was reporting to them. He leveled up to a degree that you're like, yeah, he's there. And it made perfect sense, because I don't know what he would have been in Montreal. It would have been a squash, very similar to the first time he took on Roman, literally in the guillotine and tapping out straight away. And I feel, especially with the way they've played the game, that Jay was one way, Jimmy was another. And I know I'm looking for an Uso match, but you can extend that to build that feud. Don't squander it on SmackDown. Build it. Let this guy become the star. All right. Let him go into a triple threat. Make it what people have been dying for. When everyone's like, oh, and this is why I get upset. Not upset, but I just don't see the logic in what people are saying. Yes, it could have been that the last time that they won in a hometown in Canada was Canadian Stampede, the Hart Foundation versus Austin Goldust and what have you. But everyone's like, oh, it should have been split the titles. Roman has no need to split the titles. He dominates. I will crush you. I will walk out. Roman's doing a 2-night. Again, I said it. Adam Pearce doesn't have the pull. Adam Pearce backed out of a fight with Roman Reigns early on in his career. Now, if WWE are looking at what they've done, you've got a legitimate way of building it. And I believe it's in the fact that you have people thinking Jay's on side. That's fantasy booking. But the crux of it is, do the triple threat that you had with Angle, Benoit, and Jericho. Put both belts on the line in one night. One man can walk out with both titles, or one man walks out with both. You split the titles in itself in a match without a weird reason of why did it happen. And that's what I think is the big money in it. I believe it should be a triple threat now, because Sammy's like, I got screwed out of a title shot. I want my rematch. And that's how I would book it.
I have no issue with that booking. So let me ask you this then. I was talking about the swerve on Raw before. Do you think that I'm assuming you're up to date with what happened on Raw?
I've not seen everything.
Kevin and Sammy specifically.
He told him, go talk to your friend Jay to take down the bloodline. I heard that part. Yeah.
As in, so my question is, do you think this is a swerve and it is still going to be Kevin and Sammy taking on the Usos? Or do you actually think that they've set it up that maybe it is WWE listing, and maybe they're like, okay, we know you all thought it was KO and Sammy, but we hear you. He's outgrown this. Maybe we are going to put Sammy in the title picture.
For the element of being the guy who's called something, I would love for it to be wrong. The same way I said it all that time ago, it shouldn't be KO coming to save Sammy. It should be Sammy saving KO. It's a spin that no one sees. I think it's the same. I would play very much into the hand that you had at WrestleMania 15. Now, to us, it's something seen and tested. To a new generation, it's not. Triple H came out. He helped China win the match. It's X-Pac versus Shane. You see Triple H coming down the ramp. You think he's coming to help X-Pac. He joins the corporation. I would do the same. Have Sammy in a match. Have Jay in a match. He's there. He is Team Roman. He's Team Sammy as far as everyone's concerned. He runs out at the end because right now the tag title doesn't mean it will feel such a consolidation price. It doesn't even have the hatred in it at the moment.
It doesn't.
You know, and even if Jay does do what he's meant to do and side with his brother, you don't feel the same pain. Nope. Right? You don't, because it's like, well, we also it's the predictability. It's okay. Oh, so Sammy was red hot. You've gone from the main event of Rumble and the main event of Elimination Chamber to being the winners at Rumble at Mania. You are two main event caliber guys. Let's play with that a bit more. Kevin Owens is somewhat lost in the shuffle. You can play with it. Ultimately, it will come to
that. But that happens. But that, I'm afraid, is, collateral damage for when a star is being built, not by the company, but by the audience. Sometimes these things happen. It sucks. I fucking love Kevin Owens.
I think KO might have been the chamber choice before Sammy got as popular as he was.
Yeah.
I believe that's probably the way it was going to go.
Yeah.
And then Sammy would have done what he'd done. And then it just fills in to Mania and it would have worked. But because Sammy's got so big, you've shifted out a bit and inserted Sammy in. Sammy would have still done what he'd done, or vice versa, but it would have been at that point. Now it's too big. And now to be consolidation prize, it can work. Don't get me wrong. I still believe they can do it, but it means a lot more if Jay has built Sammy up for failure. Now they
still haven't answered the question though.
What's
do
that?
you think Raw was a swerve, or do you think they're actually going that way?
I want them to go that way.
Me too.
I want Jay to back Sammy. I want the betrayal. I want Jimmy to be heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I've said it. It's not that WWE have to buy into every dream match. Yeah, Matt wanted Jeff and this, that, and the other. But there will never be a more golden time for the Usos to go against each other and for it to make any more sense. Let's be honest, you go back to the beginning of the Bloodline when Roman looked at Jay and went, "Isn't that right, Jimmy?" And he went, "Us, I'm Jay." At this point, doesn't even matter. Like, that's what it was. That's who the Usos were. They are so cut and dry in being different right now. That's the way I would run it.
So then what did you do with the tag titles? Bearing in mind, I like this line of booking you're doing. But what happened to the tag titles?
WrestleMania Backlash. Then they can take it. Because at that time, Sammy's had two shots. I would have Cody retain one. Cody win one. Roman retain the other. Take that to SummerSlam. Find whoever needs to take it off of him. But Sammy's had two chances. He's had the Mania moment that people believe he deserves.
But he's come up short twice.
Yeah, but it was going to happen. It's going to happen.
And that's why he's not a star, mate. For that reason,
it has to happen.
That you can't put the company on his shoulders.
You can't.
Cody, you can. But
this is the thing. But that's the way I'd play it. I could give him the main event spot that he can while he's red hot. Revitalize the tag division. Let them separate it on two shows. Let them be the ones to separate the titles. The Usos are trying it at the moment. Let them take both titles because KO's Raw, Sammy's SmackDown. Let them lose the SmackDown titles to the Viking Raiders. I was going to say the Profits, but no. But, let it become something else. Let it go where it has to go. That's the way I would book it. Because really, it keeps KO relevant as well. Because KO will get lost in the shuffle if the tag titles don't do it. And they don't deserve that.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. They very much they haven't booked themselves into a corner, because when you've got options, you're not booked into a corner. They're in a lucky position. And this is why I come back to what we were saying at the top of the show about playing it safe. They are in a lucky position where they actually have a lot of avenues they can go down. To be clear, every single one of these avenues has a negative that goes with it. There is no avenue here that's perfect, but that's what part of booking is. So in a world where we acknowledge that no matter what avenue you go down, there's going to be either someone who's not happy, or a large group of people who are not happy, and a negative side to it, i.e., maybe Kevin getting lost in the shuffle for the sake of Sammy getting his moment. Shit happens. It's wrestling. Then you recycle and other people get other shots. That's how it works, right? There are a number of routes they can go down. Roman retains both. Cody takes both. Cody takes one. Roman retains the other. Cody takes one. Sammy takes one. Cody takes both. Sammy goes and gets the tag. There is loads of routes you can go down with this, all with pros and cons. So what I've been, and I said it at the top of the show, what I am batting for, surprised me.
Do you know what I think? Because I mean, it's so sad, but
just don't do the obvious, like, bro. To elaborate, I can't believe I'm saying this, considering how much I love Cody Rhodes. Just don't have Cody leave with both belts.
No, I don't think he could.
Don't.
He could. Previously, he could have, and he would be the fighting champ for both titles.
Yes,
I would let him win one, let Roman retain, just to piss people off. And you need that bit of heartbreak in these pay-per-views. You know, you need a little heartbreak.
Mania.
Yeah. People were pissed off. Yeah, you can have that. People were pissed off with him walking out with both titles. People thought it was Brock's night. Like, you have these moments where you can be disappointed. Austin Rock, WrestleMania 17. That was heartbreak. It happens. Give me a moment of exhilaration, but also give me something else.
You know my feelings on Austin Rock. I don't think that was good.
To me, it was a shocker. And this is the thing. We talk about play it safe.
True.
Sometimes you have to take a risk. It can't be won both ways. Even this.
You know what? On that logic, you've won me over. I want an Austin Rock moment. Not because I think not because I like the Austin Rock moment. I'm on record now saying I think that destroyed wrestling for a while. But it was a shock. So what I'd like, because I'm a selfish, spoilt little bastard, is I want that level of shock without the product being damaged the way it was. You know?
Do you know something that's just hit me now, because I've wondered what happens to KO. How does KO still get his Mania payoff? Give us a match that will fucking tear the place down, and everything's bloodline related. Let's give me KO versus
Solo. Yeah,
KO
I've been
Solo.
saying this for a while.
Jimmy versus Jay, and then that triple threat. And everyone's cards running out because Sammy's got his army, KO's got his army, Cody's the fighting man, unless Jay White and Finn Balor and AJ decide to back him. But like, take that away. Cody's the fighting champ with everything against him. These guys have both got their factions. Can he still walk out with 2 titles? That's the way I'd book it. That is the way I'd legit book it.
On a quick tangent note of Jay White, I've got quite a tasty bit of booking idea for him.
But before that, which way do you lean? Do you think he's more AEW? As much as I'd like to see him WWE,
I am honestly split down the middle on this one. Very split down the middle. The easy integration would be with AEW. All his boys are there. Cody, sorry, not Cody. Kenny, the Bucks, Adam Cole. There's loads of stories he can just walk into there. And then he'd still have a means to compete with New Japan without being with New Japan. So it's like a fuck you to his. Yeah, there's loads you can do with AEW.
Eddie's there as well, which gives him a feud instantly.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much you can do with AEW. But do I think Jay White, because I really rate Jay White, do I think Jay White has the type of star power to make it in WWE without being Chad Gabled? Yeah, I do. And the way I would book him, for me, you do not put him into the main event title picture upon arrival. Bad idea. Bad idea. Simply because, pure speculation, I'd be very curious to see how, when that Switchblade music hits, how many WWE fans actually know who he is.
See, I wouldn't recognize his music. I've loved Jay White before he was Bullet Club. I remember joking with someone that he should be Bullet Club because I just saw it in his gimmick, and that's that. But I couldn't tell you I know his theme song.
It's quite generic, but it starts with that kind of slashing sound. It's very hard to do a slashing sound with your mouth. Forgive me. I would be curious to see how many people. The hardcores will know him, and WWE does still have some hardcores. I maintain. The yes people are all over in AEW now. I genuinely believe that. They got pissed off with the product and they went to AEW where they're very content now.
Understandable. I could go with that.
But there are still hardcores in WWE. There's no, I mean, 2 of them are on screen right now. they will know. But the kids and the other ones who
The casuals.
the casuals, I don't know if they would watch a kind of hard to find wrestling promotion, which doesn't always have English commentary and which isn't big at all on pageantry or storylines and is more focused on the athletic side of wrestling. Has storylines, of course, but more athletically focused than kind of pageantry focused. I don't think those type of fans would go out and seek New Japan. So for that reason, you don't put Jay White straight into the title picture. What you do, here's some fantasy booking for you. The Theory Cena match. Have Cena win that. Have Cena beat Theory. Do the open challenge the following night, Monday Night on Raw. Hey, I'm back. I do open challenges, US title. Who's coming? Switchblade comes out, beats Cena. Now you've just made people stand up and notice you without
Instantly.
necessarily, but you're not necessarily in the big title picture, but you're being taken seriously.
Do you know that's perfect booking? That's really, really good booking, actually. One I didn't see coming in a KO manner. I would do something I think people think is unpopular, very unpopular. I would make him the second coming of Adam Cole. I think I'd probably put him back in NXT.
Sure.
I think I'd put him there where he's bigger than NXT for sure. But again, a lot of guys were. But it puts eyes on it. He holds a title. People start to get to know who he is. He doesn't have to stay there long.
What, Jay White?
LA Knight wasn't there.
Ron Breaker, you mean?
Possibly Carmelo Hayes, because Hayes is meant to be the guy to dethrone Melo shortly. But have him there. He can instantly go into a title picture, hold a title, make a name for himself, and come up quite quickly. But it at least gives people a chance to know who he is. And what you'll find with NXT, and here's the funny thing, I don't know if they still exist, because I think those are the guys who've definitely gone to AEW. But those who have decided to stick around are the ones who can give him the hype he deserves to be recognized upon entry. That had the grassroots wrestling fans, where the main stage WWE doesn't.
Sure.
He gets the chance to build that gimmick, and people, the same way Johnny is Johnny Wrestling, the same way Ciampa is that, and they were more the indie darlings.
Yeah.
They had a little foot in there. Look at guys like Theory, who went there and came back up quite quickly. Balor had
look at guys like Ciampa and Gargano who did NXT and then went up and got
but the thing is, Ciampa's too injury prone, and Gargano was the wrong time. He should have come up ages ago. Yeah. That's the problem with that. It's the same as if Adam Cole came up and it wasn't under Vince McMahon trying to make him fucking Keith Lee's manager. He would be someone. Do you get what I'm saying? And this is the thing. Well, Finn Balor, Finn's in an awkward position because people respect Finn, but he gets booked into the weirdest of gimmicks. Do you know what I mean? But he went down, came back, and he's talked about. I know Dominic takes over.
The ideology of what you're saying, I agree with. My issue with it is that I don't think WWE agree with that ideology. Like, I'm still to be convinced. And yes, granted, we need to see an influx of new NXT guys coming up, right? So I reserve the right to revise the statement. Historically, though, aside from a few which you can pick on a hand, your Seth Rollins, maybe your Matt Riddles, I'm yet to be convinced that WWE treat the NXT guys seriously when they come up. And what I'm worried about is that Jay White is such a fucking phenomenal wrestler. I don't want to see him given the NXT superstar being promoted to the main roster treatment, because so far it hasn't worked. Now, as I said, this can be revised under Triple H. Maybe we see Carmelo, Bron Breakker, Jessie, whatever she's called, come up. Maybe they all come up and they actually do bits on the main roster, and then it's like different. It's like, oh, okay, so you could go to NXT and actually be certified.
It's not the world's biggest convincer, but Doudrop is gone. Piper Niven is back. Yeah.
As much as WWE.
Come again? Yeah, name changes. But do you know what I mean? It's that respect of who you are and what you can do. I believe to a degree, he's not huge, don't get me wrong, but he's not even my kind of guy in terms of wrestling. I love the guy, but he's not my kind of wrestler. Butch, Pete Dunne has moments. Gunther, But I mean, people were cheering the fuck out of it.
Gunther is a very good example. Gunther is a great example of someone who's come up and done bits. But yeah,
it needs more. It needs more. And I think it's, again, I don't want to make it bloodline related, but these mid-card titles are so weird because everyone's like, where did Solo going for him? And he hasn't. So they just kind of keep you away instead of you hoping that the bloodline are going to, like, if there's too much attention on that show, Solo's just going to have to come and take that title. I believe the
Solo Gunther would be a bangerama.
Fucking hell, the violence, the chops. Oh, God. My chest is hurting and I'm not even in the match. But that's the kind of thing that's needed. And I think in a post, it was weird me saying this in a world where I still believe Roman retains the SmackDown title. But in a post-Mania world, I think that's when you have to start building your stars. And that's where I think you can, Gunther's the Iron Man, but not done much since. Give us something from him.
Gunther, Solo, in theory, look like the future at the moment.
For sure.
And you could very easily, without having to go through the NXT route, put Jay White into that.
Do you know what I'd love to see as a match? And it is a main roster match. Jay White Ziggler. Like that.
Sure, but dream.
But that would put him on the map.
Jay White, AJ Styles.
Shivers.
Right?
If
you can do that. Now you can start throwing that up.
If Judgment Day were to disband and the AJ feud kind of goes back in, and it's who has the rights to it, and you've literally got a civil war because you've got Cody, you've got AJ, you've got Jay White, you've got some solid guys who this starts to mean something more than ever.
Or you could put them all together. New bloodline.
Could you imagine? The
club, the WWE club. What we all said the Bullet Club would never be in WWE. Now that is interesting.
That would do it.
AJ, Finn, Jay, Cody, all together. Now
sadly, and I say this not disrespectfully, but you throw the Good Brothers in there as well because hey, why not?
Sure. Have a club. Have your buff bag. Well, that's fine.
And I say it categorically. Put them on Raw because Raw needs revitalizing.
So much.
Raw needs revitalizing, and that would do it.
Although you can just see Jay White working so well on SmackDown. Oh my god,
easily.
Jay's an interesting one. The reason I'm so split about him, as I said, is because unlike Will Ospreay, never want to see him in WWE. Like, Will, if you're listening, you are probably my favorite wrestler on the planet. Do not go near that cesspool, please.
He would be good in something like an X Division challenge, like they've done the Cruiserweight. Will Ospreay's
promos are literally centered around calling people fuck cunts. Like, you can't do that in WWE. Shit, you can't do that in AEW unless it's a TV break, as MJF said.
Yeah.
You can
I say this though, and you're right. He shouldn't go there. He would be an awesome addition to the Brawling Brutes.
No. God, no. Jesus, no. Fucking no. You're going to neuter Will Ospreay?
That's the problem.
No. You know what they're going to do that. You can't do the cheeky Nando's kick. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like, they're going to make him do things like, that thing he does in the middle of matches where he literally runs up people a la Cosmo from Singing in the Rain and backflips instead of a wall, a person. They'll be like, that should be your ring entrance. It's like, no, it's one of his moves. And you laugh. They did that shit to Ricochet.
Yeah.
That shit where he would literally do a handstand, springboard back into the handstand and flip over people in his indie matches. That became his entrance. I'm like, are you kidding me? That was one of his highlight spots in a match, and you've made that his fucking entrance move. Yeah. Y'all don't know how to use these high flyers, man. Fuck. You can't book tag teams, and you don't know how to use high flyers.
That's long gone. But I think that's another discussion. Not trying to deviate. We are fantasy booking and losing track. Just going back to Elimination Chamber, because this is what it's all about. Some of the lows were the other matches. Judgment Day versus the Grit couple. It wasn't terrible.
No.
But it
was nonsensical.
That's the thing. And we
I
know
said
what
it and you picked it. Your pick based on my word should have been the outcome.
Yeah.
No way should you have Rhea losing weeks before Mania. Like, that's some fuckery.
She's meant to look dominant. Even if she was laying out Beth. She took a glam slam outside to put her out. It just doesn't work. And then Dominic's there fucking around and not being able to pull out a thing. Like, I'm not saying Priest had to run down to make the save, but
yeah,
not you, especially now when facing Charlotte, both Asuka or Rhea had the rights, and then anyone facing Bianca also made kind of sense. There were so many different ways of doing it, and it kind of nerfed her. And then you're now doing this random shit where Finn Balor has to cost Edge the US title. Like, Edge was really looking for a fucking US title run. Do you know what I mean? An 11-time champ looking for a US title run this late in his career? They fuck themselves into the spiral that leads to Edge Finn for the final time. And that's what bugs me with that one.
But the Edge Finn, that's what fucks me off too. Like, the Edge Finn Balor, they could have done the final time, and they could have done a Hell in a Cell at Mania, which would have been a nice spot event. And they could have done it off the back of Edge being like, no more interference, no more Dominic, no more Judgment Day, you and me, Hell in a Cell at Mania, and it's done then. It's such simple booking. That way, Rhea keeps winning. You get Dominic going and fucking off with his dad that night.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you do with Priest, but that's a whole other problem. But yeah, I don't get why they made Edge win.
Do you know what? I would make Priest Dominic's backup. He would be, because Rhea's doing her thing, he would be Dominic's security on the night against Rey.
Jesus, can you imagine? Back up to the condom.
It is, but it is what it is. And in that night, in a world that he has now dismantled or separated them all and they've all got their thing, you could open up that same club talk. That could have been an opening for Jay White. That would have just leveled out the world. But hey, that's fantasy booking. The other match that we have to go into and say, what the actual fuck?
Must we?
Well, I'm happy I got the point, but here we go on shocker level. It doesn't go the way I wanted to, because I said Bobby and Brock should go in a cage. We actually had Bobby Lashley be the victor of the feud, which I thought was a shocker. However, it does lead into, because we now have something big tone called, and I really didn't want to see it happen, Omos versus Brock. Now, I think that's going to stink the joint. It's really going to stink the place out. But does it expand the Brock Bobby feud, or does it kill it? I don't know which way they're going on that, and that's what I don't. Because if you're just going to be like, it's obviously we know it's Hurt Business, and this is where it's, oh my god, Bobby Lashley has actually helped Omos. But really, I would have been more invested in a Brock versus Shelton. Make it emotional. Make it go back into who
you had. Brock Gunther there. I don't know why you're not doing that.
And furthermore,
you teased in the Rumble and there's no payoff.
Sadder than not getting that, sadder than Brock Omos, is Bobby Lashley Bray Wyatt. What he is doing with either of those guys, I have no idea. This is where, and this is the thing, we're talking leading up to Mania. If you're going to tell me you want to give me this shit in December, that's fine. Do that shit in September. I honestly don't give a fuck. Please don't do it in July, because I don't want that for the Money in the Bank ticket I'm buying tomorrow. But what are we doing?
Oh shit, the tickets go on sale tomorrow.
11:30 tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I may need someone to spot me this time.
Okay. I should be able to.
And the money will be back within a week and a bit.
Cool. Yeah, then we're okay. But yeah.
Actually, yeah, if you can, if it's tomorrow, literally a week, give me a week and you'll have the money back.
That's cool. Yeah, but what are we doing? And the fact that you had this dominance of who is actually the winner? Who does Bray Wyatt actually want? Because Bobby Lashley wins and gets mutilated by Brock Lesnar. Is that who you're chasing? Is that who you're chasing? The guy who was on the floor at the end of the match?
He's broken already, bro. He ain't running.
You know what I mean? Like, well done. And this is where I say WWE are especially leading up to Mania. Now you're giving me failure matches.
It's annoying.
And again,
how do you think I feel when I'm flying out there?
Do you know the sad bit? And this
Paying
is
thousands of pounds to see a fucking, I don't know, Snickers Cruncher match with Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah. This is why I'm going to put it out there, and we'll discuss deeper when the rest of the guys are out there. WWE are responsible for what they've done, because let's put it out there. Let's not make any illusion. The ministry had said WrestleMania 40. We had said WrestleMania 40. Now we booked ourselves into fantasy, but everything led, even Young Rock led to it should be at Mania. Okay, you didn't say this Mania. I agree, but it looked like all angles lead to The Rock at WrestleMania. People have paid severe money for this. And again, you will have a good time. You are going to see Brock live. You're going to see John Cena live. Hopefully, touch wood. Like, you've seen Randy live already. So even if he doesn't make it, Randy, please get well soon. But you've got the main hitters. You know. And
it just doesn't look as juicy as it did a few weeks ago, where it looked like the possibility of having Rock, Cena, Austin, and Punk all look very real.
Yeah. Like literally, fantasy booking looked like Austin Punk, Rock Roman, Cena Theory, Gunther Brock. Like, you had matches.
Oh yeah, the reality is not as tasty. Now I get Omos. No.
And the crotch chopping Montez Ford somewhere.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Why did they do this to me? Why did I give them my money? There's a little part of me that does feel that way, bro. I can't lie.
Bro, I can only but understand. I can't help but feel it for you guys. Like, honestly, I would. I'm not gonna lie, and this is the God's honest truth, with the UK having this cost of living crisis that we're doing right now, and the way the card is stacked, the way I would possibly contemplate selling the ticket and saving it for WrestleMania 40, just because that's what I wanted to do. If I was, I'm not telling you to do it, please don't. But there's a part of me that if I was in your
group, it crossed my mind. Not even lying, it's crossed my mind.
No, I get it.
Because they're going to do some fuckery to me, because we're also going to the Raw after Mania. They're going to do some dumb shit to me, like have The Rock come out the following night. I think Big Tone called this, and there'll be the big sign that says WrestleMania 40 confirmed, Rock versus Roman. I'm like, you motherfuckers, you. Like,
do you know what I don't want them to do to you? And I don't want to put this out in the ether, right? I really don't. But I really hope they don't do it to you. Don't have him come out on SmackDown.
Oh, no. Don't do that.
It sucks to say it, but if we go down the fantasy booking that I've done, Roman as Universal Champ is SmackDown.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want
that. So much. The one show I don't make it to. Fuck you, Nico.
Honestly, don't do that.
Take your money. Hey, fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you, pay me.
But yeah, overall, I mean, if you look at it, we are shitting on 1.5 matches out of 2, 4, 5. That's not bad.
It depends how you. I love your attempt to put a positive spin on this respect. It depends through what lens you're viewing it from. As matches go, with what I saw in ring, excluding kind of storylines that could have been more than they are, no, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. But it's that recurring theme with WWE. It's the DC example I gave. Am I happy to see Batman? Sure. Am I happy to see Superman? Of course. Wonder Woman? Fuck yeah. But you could do so much more than just Justice League. Even then, you give me the Schneider Cut, which is good. I like the Schneider Cut. But you could have been even more than that. You really could. This is the biggest superheroes in the world we're dealing with. This is WWE. This is the biggest wrestling. I don't give a fuck if they want to call themselves a content creation, sports entertainment of the galaxy company. I don't give a shit.
Wrestling entertainment is in your name.
It's literally they're a wrestling company, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. Acknowledge me. it's safe. It's safe. It's like they're not doing
Here's my
anything.
argument.
They're not doing anything like they're not doing Vince level wrong, but they're also not doing anything that's setting my world on fire. And I said this to Big Tone, and he agreed with me, which is a rarity. He agreed with me when we were at his place this last weekend. I was like, just look at the Dynamite cards each week. Every single segment I'm invested in, and it's not just me. Moxley Hangman, that's interesting what's going on there. El Perro Peligroso with Roosh, the fact that they fucked over the Dark Order, that's interesting. Anything MJF and Bryan Danielson are doing is super interesting. Eddie Kingston having his beef with Ortiz, where's that going to go? That's interesting. The House of Black coming out and staring down the Elite at the end of Rampage. Yeah, you see, it's Jungle Boy going on this little tear at the moment as he gets built up towards being a TNT champion and taking people out each week.
Is Jungle Hook still a thing?
No. Sadly not. Jungle, I know. I felt that way too. But then what they're doing with him is actually very good.
Cool.
Shit, man, even the Best Friends, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but what Orange Cassidy and Danhausen are doing each week, it just makes me laugh. And then you've got, the Acclaimed and the Gun Club. What they're doing is really cool. And it's every single segment I'm looking at. It doesn't matter if it's trios, tag, singles, title, non-title. I never go into Dynamite, usually other than, I can't wait to see what MJF does this week. Like, he is the draw. Like, he is the fucking draw. Like, I tune into Dynamite to see him saying nasty, horrible shit and pissing on the crowd. But then I get to Dynamite and they give you the announcement of this is what's on the show tonight in the first 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm interested in the whole show. There's no skipping going on here. I'm never prepared for it. They announce matches on Rampage. They tell you a little bit what's coming next week. And I'm like, this is all good. Like there's physically nothing I would want to skip here. Bro, on Raw this week, I watched the whole 11 minutes of Sami and KO's promo, super invested. Everything else, I was like, okay, I'll watch the Theory and Edge stuff because I know that it's going to build to Cena, which I'm obviously invested in. But the other stuff, I was like, skip to Malou, my darling.
Can I be honest? I honestly hope that the women's tag title match doesn't happen. Bring back Trish and make it
alive. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, no. Give me, I think they're called Team Bestie, Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Damage Control.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I don't want Lita and Becky as the women tag team champs.
Well, you won't because that match is next week, so you won't see that.
Oh, I thought it was a Raw match. I thought it was a Mania match.
No, it's next week. Yeah, I reckon Trish will come out next week, and you'll get exactly what you're pitching.
Okay, that's all right then. I thought it was a Mania match, and that was going to kill him for me.
So and I hate to keep comparing AEW to WWE, but it's very hard to talk about one without talking about the other in the scope of booking and happiness with booking, right? Yes, they haven't done anything per se wrong in Elimination Chamber. It's so fucking safe, AJ. It's so safe.
Is it? I mean, a lot of it is. But again, it's the predictability that were good predictabilities with both chamber matches. If what I predicted does come through, that is just extending the feud where people think, oh, it should have gone this way. And then you get disappointed. You've just given it extra life. If it is dead in the water from there, then yes, it's the safe route and it's there. But I have a feeling they've got that ear to the ground. I don't think Hunter's that out of touch to know. And I don't want... Do you know what I hate? Is every year people go, WWE dropped the ball with that one. They dropped the ball with Ziggler. They dropped the ball with Punk. They dropped the ball with
They dropped the ball with Zayn. We're going to say it.
Yeah, I hope not. I really hope not.
They're going to say we dropped the ball with Zayn and we booked Cody incorrectly when he returned. I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that will be the soundbite. I reckon the crowd will turn on Cody quite quickly, which is fucked up.
People have been predicting it for a while and it hasn't happened. But it will get very
But it's only recently that it started being fuckery. his trio with Seth Rollins, there was nothing to boo there.
No. But it's in this because people thought he's going to get booed because it's not Sammy going into Mania.
No. I think what will happen is they're not going to do right by Sammy. I don't think they'll do a triple threat. I hope they do, but I don't think they'll do a triple threat. I think it will be Sammy Roman. I wish. I think it'll be Cody Roman. The safe booking is Cody wins, and he's got about a month, and then the boos will start.
It will do. He's going to have to switch shit up real quickly. Because your whole thing
shouldn't fucking be the case. He literally tore himself apart for us. But you bring him back at that position after telling us he's coming back. It's like,
but do you know what WWE's problem is? It relies on storylines, and it then becomes very. You can only be the underdog for so long. You've taken out Seth for a third time. You've taken out Roman for the second time, or some dumb shit like that. Probably thanks to Sammy. Like something's going to happen, and then it's going to be. And now what? Okay, you're the fighting champ. Okay, champ, entertain me. And that's the next part, because you giving me the teary-eyed story when you're at the top doesn't mean shit. It's the same reason Daniel Bryan failed. I now need, and I, if I'm honest, the best thing he could do is bring back the club and be an evil bastard. He literally needs to go heel before heel becomes him. You know?
Yeah.
I would swerve the crowd so fucking badly. And literally, as you said, create Bloodline 2.0. Get the reign of Cody on Raw the same way, and have people thinking, what the fuck? When is he dropping that title?
Yeah.
But
I don't think they'll do that.
That part I don't see happening.
I think they'll do the thing, which is he beats Roman, heel becomes him, and it gets sour. And that sucks. For a guy who's gone through that journey, that sucks.
Yeah.
So I reckon this time next year, month before Mania, I'm sure we'll be hyped about some matches. Most likely Rock Roman for my sins.
Rock Roman. Yeah. So I thought you said Rock Roman.
I fucking Rock Roman. I imagine because I'll get butt fucked because that's how it happens. Rock Roman will be excited about next year as the big marquee match that I never got to see live. And I reckon we'll look back and go, do you remember how that opportunity they had with Sammy last year?
Listen, WrestleMania 40, if the heavens go in the way it is, I will do everything for you to make sure you're there as well, bro. Like, it has to happen if we're going to do it. We have to do it properly. I've always said 5s and 0s, so I know I'm not in the best position right now for even Money in the Bank. But we will make it happen. We will make it happen if it's going to go that way. But yeah, that's the one. We're trying to pre-book into everything. We're looking at Elimination Chamber, guys. As I said, we'll bring the rest of the guys in. But I don't want to give this pay-per-view a thumbs down. But it's not a thumbs up. It's literally...
No,
it's a Batista. Yeah, it's a Batista. Which way is that thumb going?
You're safe. You didn't do anything inherently wrong other than the disqualification, but you did two good things with the Elimination Chamber matches, and you played it safe, which some would argue is the logical thing with Sammy. It is, but you could have surprised us.
Yeah. Okay.
You could have surprised us. You could have given us another. You could have given us like Zany Mania.
It could happen. It could happen. But he won't come out on top. That's the only thing that I think is just not the way.
Oh, he could, and then that pushes Cody heel, and then there you go. Yes, that's what I was saying with my emotions. That's what I said in the chat earlier. Have Sammy win, and that forces Cody's hand to go heel, and he can literally drop it a month after. Because I still maintain, even Sammy winning, he's not a star. I don't think he's a man who can carry that company by himself. Cody, face or heel, is. So give Sammy his month, 2 months, maybe 3. Then Cody fucks him as a heel, and we have the Reign of Terror.
Sammy, but it would have to be heel Sammy. I think Sammy in a Miz-like type championship could really piss people off. You know?
Yes. Yeah. But that's not the Sammy we have now.
No,
so I don't think that.
Again, you could do it. You could do it because it could be, I followed this. Like, he could be so much things and just switch on the crowd. You know. I'm better than you people. I am,
and you know it. Gimmick infringement.
Exactly, gimmick infringement. But you think I needed that cheering in Montreal? You think I needed this? Oh, he could like just be that guy. You know, it could be.
You could also have Cody be like, "I literally broke myself for you," and you cheered him. The mountain goat?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. But they won't.
Look, it is the road to WrestleMania. But before the road to WrestleMania, the ministry will be back one more time this week, hopefully. And more importantly, we will be back when we will be traveling at Full Gear. Because yes, that is the next pay-per-view. Because yes, the points still matter.
No, it's not.
Currently.
Revolution.
Revolution. Is it Revolution? That really killed my thing. And I know I said Full Gear prior. But okay, yes, it may not be a new year, but there will be a revolution. Yes, who remembers New Year's Revolution? First Elimination Chamber. Hey, you see how we brought it all back? There we go. So, that's the one. Nico, would you like to let everyone know how the scores went?
Yeah, so after the Elimination Chamber went down, the scores for the pay-per-view were... we all picked up a point, calling Asuka correctly for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Everyone except AJ... only AJ picked up a point for the Brock versus Bobby match, picking correctly Bobby Lashley, nefarious means. But then AJ fucks himself by picking Finn and Rhea, and Edge and Beth won. So everyone else got a point, which balanced the scores again. We all called Theory to win the men's chamber, and we all called Roman to beat Sammy. So totals for the pay-per-view were 4 apiece, which means everyone gets a point, which means the totals for the season are Big Tone is on 7, Leon is on 6, AJ is on 6, Nico, that's me, I'm on 7, and Dan the Tech is on 7. And I'm the wrestling fan who doesn't watch wrestling and I've never been on first. Yes, we got it then.
But look, every catchphrase is done. Nefarious means has been dropped, and wrestling fan who doesn't watch wrestling.
Yeah, but the one that annoys me is when he keeps on saying, like, I've never left first position. I'm like, bruv, let's rewind the clock to last year.
Yeah. That's the one.
We just stopped the show. Like,
unfortunately, I think it was all to do with my it comes very similar to around the same time I was working. So yeah, new job, and it just fucked up the schedule. But we're back, and that's the main thing, guys. And we ain't going anywhere. So until the next time, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
I'm Double V Nico Liro. You can catch me at Daddy Go on YouTube or Movie MT Rushmore on Twitter. We'll see you guys very soon. Reach for the sky.
That's the one. See you.